Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am still a little under the weather. You can probably hear it in my voice, but I do come here to tell you, ignore the noise. XRP wins in the end. I fully believe this. Boy, if you knew how many things I had seen since 2013. You know what, the one that got me the worst was in 2000, I guess it was 15. I remember holding XRP and reading that Ripple had been fined by FinCEN $700,000 for what was I don't remember what the charge was or whatever, but anyway, bottom line is that's when I remember sitting there going, oh man, this thing's over. And then that passed, and this too shall pass. But anyway, the whole Chris Larson hack thing yesterday, the interesting thing about the hack to me was the wording of what he said, because it doesn't sound like it was a hack. In fact, I need to go, let me look at while you're here, let me look at what his wording was, and I'll say what I was thinking here. Yesterday, there was unauthorized access to a few of my personal XRP accounts, not Ripple. That doesn't sound like a hack to me. Unauthorized access, to me, says that he must have had accounts that were watched after at Ripple or at some custodian, and someone, unauthorized access sounds like somebody that works at one of those places accessed the accounts. That's what it sounds like to me. But who knows? He says this is an isolated incident and Ripple wallets are secure. We're never compromised. We've confirmed nearly all the affected funds were converted out of XRP. We're working with law enforcement and have been advised that a significant portion of the funds have been frozen and are pursuing the remainder aggressively. Many thanks to XRP Foundation and this is Thomas Silkjaer, for their help. Then Brad Garlinghouse weighed in, given some irresponsible speculation and reporting. I want to reiterate that no Ripple managed wallets were compromised, full stop. Now, CNBC and all of the crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin media never speak about Ripple and XRP, but all of a sudden, when there's something bad, they want to talk about it. Here's CNBC.
XRP's price. Blockchain sleuth Zach XBT pointed out in a post on X that around $112 million in XRP had seemingly been stolen on Tuesday. Speculation that the Ripple platform had been hacked sent the price of XRP tumbling. But in a post on X this morning, Ripple co-founder Chris Larson clarified that it was his own personal accounts that had been accessed, not a hack of Ripple itself. Larson said the problem was quickly caught and exchanges were told to freeze the affected addresses. He also said law enforcement was involved. All right, some other...
And then you've got, this is Decrypt Media. When you think Decrypt, think Ethereum. These guys never talk about Ripple or XRP, but all of a sudden they're fascinated, and they make sure to point out how much XRP that Ripple holds, but they never ever will bring up the fact that the whales from the Ethereum ICO were disguised, and never do they want to look into it or find out who owns all the Ethereum, because that would break their narrative.
The Ripple, did you guys see the Ripple founder hack?
What the hell was up with that? It's supposed to go hacked, right?
Dude, so the Ripple got hacked for $113 million right before the show. So it's here per Decrypt's article. Ripple founder hacked for $13 million. XRP drops 5 points. Ripple's XRP token dropped following word of a $112.5 million hack, which co-founder Chris Larson said were from his personal accounts.
I didn't see this. I saw that. Did his Twitter get hacked as well? I just saw the headline. But
this literally just happened.
Maybe you just posted it on X. Yeah.
See, look at this. It's Zach XBT picked up on it. So it's 213 million XRP tokens that were hacked.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they've been laundered through Mexi, Gate, Binance, Kraken, OKX, HTX, HitBTC, etc. So this was like a pretty organized coup type of thing going on here.
Organized coup.
Like one thing people you have to realize with Ripple is the reason why the SEC came out after them is the team owns a ton of fucking tokens. Like it's a $55 million market cap.
200 million tokens.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, Chris Larson, co-founder, said yesterday
But they didn't go after Ethereum, who had an ICO where Joseph Lubin on video describes disguising whales, and none of these clowns want to know about who the disguised whales are and how that Ethereum distribution worked out from that ICO.
Unauthorized access to a few of my personal XRP accounts, not Ripple. We were quickly able to catch the problem and notify exchanges to freeze the affected addresses. Law enforcement is already involved. This is wild. This is a big hack.
I'm going to show
professional, right?
I'm going to show you guys a big hack here in a minute that you will never cover. In fact, let's get to it. I'll get to this tether thing in a minute. Here's a hack that these guys will never cover. This is an investigative journalist, something we've never had on the Ethereum gang. Good morning, Vitalik. Given that you are reported to be living in Montenegro, Boring Sleuth is making a very serious accusation that the Ethereum Foundation was connected to the Gatecoin hack, mainly through this transaction. They've got the receipts, folks. I've sent you an email to ask you about it and whether you know who is the owner of the address in question, namely this address. I think this is a very serious accusation which you should be able to deny unless you can and or are willing to explain the connection between Ethereum Foundation and this address. You have always spoken as a person who supports Satoshi's principles of transparency and truth. So I genuinely assume you would be very willing to explain or deny a clear and explicit blockchain connection with a crypto criminal between the foundation you founded. Greatly appreciated. And then he goes on, he points out somewhere in here, maybe he's just said it, that he had sent Vitalik Buterin a message that Vitalik opened on WhatsApp, and he still didn't respond, which that is a big deal, folks. But meanwhile, you got Scott Melker and this guy, James Seifert, and they're towing the same when there's the Bitcoin Ethereum ETF
I view the
business.
SEC kind of veering and pivoting away from fighting Ethereum and Bitcoin on this front, and they're going to go.
So they're talking the same Bitcoin Ethereum ETF talk. So I asked the question, are you guys really going to flat ignore this and continue the ETH ETF talk? So the Wolf of all streets, who's Scott Melker, he says, yeah, I don't even know what this is. So he's blowing it off. And so I said, okay. Hey, Boring Sleuth, Stephen Naroff, looks like Scott Melker hasn't heard about any of your Ethereum facts. This is great because you can now inform him and maybe he can have you on to discuss. And then he says, I know, Stephen, I'm superficially aware, didn't read what you sent, which is what I was referring to. Well, the thing is, Scott, now you know, that's the good thing. And now, since they have facts, you should have them on. Why wouldn't you? Have them on and hear and present to the world their facts. Because, you know, the truth matters. So it's good that Scott's aware of this now. Now back to this Tether thing. These people tweeted this proudly, the Bitcoin Magazine people. Just in, Tether now owns over $2.8 billion in Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Well, I have two questions. First question is, what is stable about Bitcoin? Why would that be on Tether's balance sheet? Well, the only reason it would be on Tether's balance sheet to keep their stable coin stable would be if they know that when they print Tether out of nothing, it increases the value of Bitcoin, so they don't have to worry about the stability of Bitcoin. It's only upside because they decide when they print and increase the value of Bitcoin. You talking about something that stinks to high heaven, boys and girls. That's it. Well, this does too. But now let me give you something else that stinks to high heaven. Chris Dixon from Andreessen Horowitz put out his book the other day. And look, the reason I don't leave this alone is because Chris Dixon is the guy that Jay Clayton met with to head up the Bitcoin Ethereum free pass. And he did. But now he's making his rounds and writing his book as if he's fighting for the whole industry, and he's another guy now. He's talking about, and I was listening to him yesterday, he's talking about how he's so concerned about the blockchain industry being inclusive, and that's the only way to do it. Well, he wasn't inclusive back when they were formulating the Bitcoin Ethereum free pass. Their objective was very simple: to get Bitcoin and Ethereum out from under securities laws. They weren't worried about any other blockchain, just those two. And then based on what Joseph Lubin was saying in all of his interviews after that, oh well, there's not going to be any more clarity, and there wasn't any more clarity coming out of the SEC, which meant the SEC intended to slam the door on all other digital assets. So where was Chris Dixon's inclusiveness when they only included Ethereum in the safe harbor memo that went before the SEC? Don't take my word for it. Listen to that.
I think that's one of the things that the crypto people do that makes them disliked, is that they say things like have fun staying poor and a bunch of other things, which is just non-inclusive. It's not like it I don't know. It's just not like, we should be thinking about how do we use this technology to improve people's lives and improve the internet and be inclusive. Like, if you're not, like, it's by definition, that's exclusive speech. Like, if you want to grow the movement, you need to be inclusive. Like,
so Jay Clayton then tells Andreessen Horowitz, which is a huge investor,
tells Chris Dixon at Andreessen Horowitz,
crypto, right? They have the 2.2 billion fund, big Ether backers. He says, write a memo up for us and tell us what you want. They write a memo in a safe harbor proposal. There are multiple meetings that take place. A secret meeting in March of 28th of 2018, and it gets leaked because there's some stuff going on in there. And they propose a safe harbor for crypto, but the only crypto they mention is Ether. And then what happens on June 14th, 2018, Bill Hinman, gratuitously as Director of Corporation and Finance, very high up at the SEC, gives his infamous speech where he says, setting aside the fundraising that took place with Ether, it is sufficiently decentralized today, and therefore current sales of Ethereum are no longer considered a security. He goes on CNBC and he says, well, you know, when we look at Ethereum, we don't see a third-party promoter. You just had a meeting with him.
It's a backroom deal.
You just had meetings with him. He had a meeting on June 8th. 6 days before the speech, he had a meeting with the promoter. So he gets up there and says, we don't see it.
In criminal law, this sounds like a proffer meeting almost.
And absolutely. Then all the people start asking, well, what about XRP? XRP was actually number 2 at the time behind Bitcoin, and it was battling Ether for the number 2 spot. Oh, we're not going to comment on any of further tokens.
Full decentralization, and that's what the Hinman speech, which tracks my memo pretty well, has come out and said. And the Hinman speech has generally said, okay, decentralization, we think, gets both Bitcoin and Ether out of securities law status.
I think that's
what a complete joke. So Mr. Inclusive here, he didn't have any other blockchain companies represented in those meetings. It was only for Bitcoin and Ethereum. They weren't interested in others. I don't remember Ripple getting an invitation to that party. Now, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, and in there, folks, I'm using it for the purpose that it's for, and that is to show you things that I couldn't show you out here. If I showed them out here, I'd get kicked off of YouTube or wherever, or I'd get dinged or whatever. But I can show them in my group. If you want to find out what's really going on in our world and see the truth of what the bad guys are up to and what they're trying to do, which hopefully we can prevent, then come in there. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, Tell your friends and family. DAIXRP.com. Here we go.